Hi, welcome to We Wine Whenever. I'm Wendy.
I'm Kelly.
We are talking about The Real Housewives of Orange County, Season 18, Episode number 1, which also happens to be the 100th season of Housewives.
That's pretty amazing.
And it's so fitting that it came around on OC.
For sure.
They must have planned it. They had to plan it that way, you think?
I mean, you like to think that the people that are running Bravo are that smart, but sometimes I really question that. I really, really question that. We'll get into it, but after I logged off from work today, I did put on Bravo while I was cooking dinner, and season 7 of OC was playing. And we've talked about this. I love Tamra on the podcast, on Two T's in a Pod. I don't love Tamra on Housewives. I think she's very messy. And in this season was when she and Heather actually are very, very mean to Alexis. It's the party where Alexis's friend takes the piece off of Heather's cake, that girl Sarah.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah.
But Tamra and Heather were not nice. So I thought it was so funny because last night, that's how they introduced Alexis back into the group. Heather's like, I have to call Shannon and tell her that I'm inviting Alexis because she and I have been very close friends for years. Okay. You were horrible to her. They were horrible to her.
They were horrible to her. And I'll be honest with you, the more I watch Tamra, I don't like her at all on the Housewives. And I'm starting to listen because I've been listening to her for a while. I don't like her on Two T's in a Pod anymore either because she is messy. She's messy.
And this is what's making it different for me now. I'm very clear about my feelings for Teresa. And there was a time where Tamra was very against Teresa and saw her for who she was and called her out on it, most importantly. She does none of that anymore. She says nothing negative about Teresa. She says nothing negative about Louis. So I'm wondering if she was threatened.
Well, she's not only is she not saying anything about Teresa, but she's covering for Teresa.
Exactly.
I mean, it's one thing not to call her out on stuff, but it's another thing to cover for her and take stuff down because that's what she's been doing. And I am 100% sure she was threatened.
Yes.
And she needs the paycheck. So she's doing what she needs to do. And I just think it's messy. And honestly, I'm sick of it. I really am sick of it. I'm sick of it with all of them. We said this from the very beginning that we started this podcast. We love the Housewives, but we liked the realness of it, and we liked seeing the family scenes, and we like seeing them have a good time. It's not all about the drama and the fighting.
No.
And that's what it's turned into, and that's not why we started watching it.
It is not. It is not. And we're going to talk about it later, but we both listened to Melissa's podcast with Nick, her cousin.
Yes.
And he says that she and Joe are the same off the camera as they are on the camera. And I truly believe that about them. That's why I enjoy watching them. I enjoy watching them with their kids. Every scene with Teresa is staged. How about Tamara with her daughter last night?
Oh my gosh, that was horrible.
That girl did not want to be there. She did not want to talk about her sister. I mean, I shouldn't say she didn't want to be there.
She shouldn't be talking about her father or her sister because they've made it very clear that they don't want to be on camera. And Tamara knows that.
Right.
Tamara should have never even brought it up.
Right. Their scenes are just awkward. Teresa's scenes with her daughters are so rehearsed. I mean, especially Jaya. I mean, come on. It's so rehearsed. It's so fake and phony.
Yeah. Let's get into the OC.
Yeah, let's do it.
We start out with 10 days after the reunion.
I did not realize that's how close to the reunion the DUI was.
Yep, 10 days after the reunion. Now I think it's after the reunion aired, not after it was filmed.
Right. We see Gina calling Shannon out for her drinking on the reunion.
At the reunion, yes. Yeah. Yes. So she gets her DUI. Then 5 months later, they start filming after the DUI. So, she's still drinking. Emily suggests that maybe she should stop drinking. And I agree. I mean, I think maybe she should stop drinking. If you don't have a problem, then you shouldn't have a problem not drinking.
Correct.
I mean, and even Gina points it out. Like, she got her DUI and she felt horrible and it was a very bad time in her life. And she doesn't drink anymore. She drinks her Red Bull.
Yep.
And good for her. And again, it's not like she had to stop drinking. She made that conscious choice because, one, she was so young when it happened. And two, she saw, her other castmates.
Right.
And it wasn't just Shannon.
I couldn't imagine, if you get a DUI, why would you even have the urge to have a drink? I just feel like that would be so traumatizing. At least not drinking for 6 months. just refocus, especially if you're going to an alcohol abuse school or a program.
Yeah.
What do you do? Go in there and talk to those people and then leave and go take a drink? I like Shannon, and I think she handled everything very well last night, but that I don't agree with.
I agree with you 100%. Then we see Heather in her new house.
I'm already tired of hearing Heather talk about real estate.
Okay.
I just don't want to hear numbers, Heather. Talk about your beautiful home because they're all beautiful. Nobody needs to know the numbers. And she's talking to Terry as if Terry doesn't know the numbers.
Well, I don't know that he does. I don't know that he does because I don't know that he gets involved in it, to be honest with you.
That's true.
He probably doesn't know the numbers.
I don't want to hear the numbers because, again, you're coming off very pretentious, like an asshole. That's my opinion.
And listen, I hear you on that. I like watching her remodel the houses. I do like that. I find it very interesting. So we see her in the new house, and then we don't get back to it for a little bit when she's meeting up with the architect, landscape architect, and the contractor, and then they're kind of going over budget and what they're going to be doing in the house because they're taking it down to the studs.
And this was a house in Beverly Hills, right?
It was in Beverly Hills. They were originally
why is she on OC?
Well, they have that other place in the Balboa Club.
That's in the OC.
It must be. So this house is in Beverly Hills, and they're taking it down to the studs. It was originally built in 1940. Sellers were originally asking in the low 40s for it, and they got it for $16 million. I know you don't like the numbers, but I like the numbers. I wrote them all down.
I heard the numbers.
I'm remembering them. Well.
Yeah.
It's 8.5 acres, and she's going to make it magnificent. I mean, Cary Grant had been there. Lana Turner lived there. Like, that house has a lot of history. And in Beverly Hills,
she's going to take it down to the stubs.
Well, I think parts of it is. I don't know if she's taking the whole house down because she said that she put staging furniture in there and they are living there. But I don't know how long they're going to be living there for because then she also said that they got the place at the Balboa Club because, two of her kids are out at college, but she still has 2 at home. So she doesn't need this big place with all this construction going on. So I don't know how much they're actually going to be living there. And this other place is closer to Terry's office, closer to his mom. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. I find it interesting. I like watching her renovate these homes. I like to see the real estate side of it.
I like to see it. I just don't want to hear the numbers because I think that she does it on purpose.
Well, I would be flexing too, I think. I don't know. I'm not really a flexer.
We'll see how much
I don't know that I am a flexer like that, but
no, we don't talk numbers.
We don't talk numbers. But then the other thing is I like to see the real estate. I loved Shannon's house when she had the basketball courts in her house, when she was with David, I love seeing that stuff. I love seeing the fashion. So I do like to see the extravagant wealth. I do like it. I don't know.
Well, listen, I would rather watch that than watch somebody, try to tear somebody down with a private investigator. So you're right.
Yes.
I'll take that over the nonsense going on Jersey.
Yes. So then after that, Jenn, Emily, and Tamara, they are all working out at the gym together. And they're talking about Jenn and Tamara. Jenn, in her confessional, says her and Tamara are going to move past everything, all the drama that they had last year. But Jenn knows who she is now, and she's just going to be careful, which we see in the upcoming seasons. Yeah, as we see in the upcoming scenes, Tamara once again is doing Tamara. She's just doing what she needs to do to stay on the show, and I don't like that. I just don't like it
because it's not authentic. Well, maybe it is authentic. Maybe she really is that person.
I think she is, and I don't like her. I don't like her for that. I don't.
No. I liked when I love Emily, and I love Emily. How honest she is about her weight loss. She's like a little bit of Ozempic, a lot of working out, changing her diet. And I love her and Shane together. What did she say? I could bench press.
Yeah, she said, a little bit of Ozempic, liposuction, and working out at the gym. But that's better than raging at Shane. But I could lift Shane too.
I just think they're so cute.
I do too, and I love Emily also. I think she's 100% real. And you know what? Sometimes that's what you need to do, especially once you hit a certain age. It's very difficult to lose weight. It's not just diet and exercise. And we know that. We know that, right?
We sure do.
Then we see Shannon in her new 3-bedroom rental now that she's an empty nester. And I think it's adorable. I love her 3-bedroom.
Very nice.
Yes, I can't imagine how much that is. And I would love to know. I know you don't want to know, but I would love to know what she's paying for that rental. I could probably look it up.
I wouldn't mind hearing it from Shannon, maybe.
Okay.
And then I thought her daughters were very sweet. when she like very, very sweet about her vulnerability, talking about the
they were giving her encouragement. They were like, listen, we're okay, Mom. Like, you got through this, you know, this was your wake up call. Like, just, you know, and she was very vulnerable. She was very upset. And she gave us an update on the girls. Sophie's a senior at Ballard. Stella was in Paris doing the transfer. She had done 9 countries in one semester, and her sisters are jealous, and I don't blame them. I'd be jealous too.
Is that the daughter who goes to Parsons?
No. Then the other one, Adeline, is in New York City at Parsons.
So Tess could have been going to school with her if she went to Parsons right out of high school.
Yep, she sure could have been. No, but I agree. I thought her daughters did a great job supporting her. And I don't know how much we're going to even see them on the season because of them being away at school. So this was probably like they were home for Christmas break, I'm assuming, at this time, because it was right after New Year.
Right.
So this will probably be it. And then they'll go back to school and, you know, they'll live their lives. Jenn also says that she feels bad for Shannon because she knows that she's been going through a tough time and she didn't ever have a problem with Shannon. So, you know, she kind of reached out to Shannon and, you know, they've had their conversations. But Tamra is bad-mouthing her, talking about her pouring the vodka in her Diet Coke when they're backstage for the three amigos.
This is what I think. I think Tamra thought Shannon was going to get fired for her DUI from the show. And Tamra was like, I don't need you anymore. And as long as I'm on the show, I don't need Tres Amigas. Because Tamra, her reason for leaving Tres Amigas now does not match what she said on Two Teas in a Pod when she actually left.
Right.
When she actually left, she said she was too busy.
Right.
She was booked doing other things and called the manager and explained that. Now she's saying it was because of Shannon's drinking. It wasn't a good look for Shannon to get up there and talk about drinking after her DUI, which quite honestly does make sense to me. And I totally agree with that. But why didn't you say it back?
Right.
I don't know. It doesn't.
That's what I don't like about Tamra. She's just too messy. And she'll say things behind your back, but then she doesn't say them to your face until she gets called out on it. Then she'll be like, yeah, I said it. Okay, well, why didn't you just say it to my face?
Right. Like that's a good reason to leave that Tres Amigas show. That is totally, and you know, I get it. Like they were pretty much doing it for Vicky because she had nothing else going on. Tamara's back on the show. Shannon never left the show. They were doing it for Vicky, but I'm sure Vicky's doing fine with her insurance business, for crying out loud.
I'm sure she is too. And then we also find out from Shannon 6 weeks after John Jansen called her and ended the relationship and said that she ruined his life and ruined the life of his family. He's dating Alexis Bellini, which, you know, the timing there is really suspect.
For sure. And especially somebody I really need to know, because I don't believe Alexis. I really need to know if he knew Alexis was coming back on the show. How about when, well, I guess we'll get there, but when Alexis says to Emily, if you really get to know him, and she's like, I know him. I've known him for 5 years or however long Emily's been on the show. I know him. I got it.
Yeah, I know him longer than you. I know him longer than you.
Exactly.
And even her girls say to her, like, if you see them together, just, you know, take the high road and walk on by. And Shannon's like, no, I'm not taking the high road. I will go up to Alexis and I will talk to her and I will let her know. And we see that when they get to the party at the end, she does ask her to come outside. And she doesn't bring up John Jansen. She doesn't. She says, I'm mad at you. The lawsuit that cost me $300,000.
And Alexis for sure 100% knew about that lawsuit.
Yes, because her name, like she said, was on the cease and desist.
Yep.
And whether she knew about it or she didn't know about it, I mean, whether she was involved in it or she wasn't involved in it, she certainly knew about it.
Right.
Just because she didn't sign the papers to sue, it was because of her interactions with Alexis that he was, and you know, she only had to pay attorney's fees. It's not like she lost the lawsuit.
Right. Who, Alexis?
Yeah.
I mean, Shannon?
Shannon, yeah. And then the other thing that just came out today, speaking of that, so was that today? So John Jansen is suing Shannon for $70,000. This was actually came out on Watch What Happens Live.
Yeah.
Is suing her for $70,000 for the money for her facelift, which, you know, she's denied. But she said to him, I'll just pay you the $70,000 and you drop the lawsuit. And he said no. Yep. So what does that tell you? Like, what does that
trying
tell
to
you?
bury her. And this must have been going on. This must have been going on when Shannon and Alexis had that conversation. Because Shannon's point was probably like, you were behind the first lawsuit against me, and now you're with somebody else who's suing me. So the common denominator there is you, asshole.
Right. I mean, $70,000. She said, okay, I'll pay it. No, I don't want that. Well, then what do you want?
Exactly what are you trying to do? Just drag her name through the mud for no reason?
Right.
What is it you want? On. She didn't ruin your life. You made yourself look like a complete douchebag on TV. The very little bit of time you were on there. That's what you did. You ruined your or whatever.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that 100%. So then I'm going to jump a little bit because I don't want to forget this. So the Gina conversation with Emily, when Gina goes over to Emily's house, and Emily had been renovating her house for 2 years. And now they're finally at the kitchen section. But Emily doesn't cook anyway, so that's not really a big deal. I can relate. I can totally relate.
Yeah.
So then they start talking, and Gina starts talking about her and Travis's relationship, and the only problems they have are the outside factors. Like, their relationship is fine. And when they all moved in together, there was 6 kids and the 2 of them, and they were little. But now as the kids are getting bigger, he's still not divorced, and she feels bad because she was there for him. He was there for her while she was going through it. And now she has a great relationship with her ex, Matt, and everything there is working out fine, but things for him are not working out. So what I didn't want to forget is I just saw today on Instagram, his ex, who they are not divorced yet, put a post out that he's not
for that.
He's not, but she took it down, but someone screenshotted it. He's not signing the divorce papers. Her family apparently has a lot of money, and they've been paying her attorney, and he's not signing the divorce papers. And she's putting the question out there, what does Travis really do for a living? Like, what does Travis really do? And we don't know what Travis does. We do know he was a realtor.
That's it.
Right.
Yes. Yeah.
And, we know that Gina got the $9 million listing. So I think Gina is a successful realtor, and Gina has the job on the OC. But what does Travis really do for a living? We don't know that.
So he's probably holding out for some cash out from his divorce?
Well, I don't know, but I think it's interesting that came out today, and, what's going on with that, right?
I was waiting for his ex to respond to last night's episode.
Yeah, she put it up and then she took it down, and she's private, so I don't know who got it, but he has not signed the divorce papers. And she said, what are you waiting, another 6 years? So maybe, like, Gina's like, I can't be in the middle of this. Like, I can't be in this limbo for all this time. So I don't want to buy a house.
That does kind of make sense, though, because she's willing to leave. Like, although she obviously feels bad, she probably doesn't feel that bad for him if he's controlling it by not signing it. She's probably like, all right, dude, if you're holding out for money from her instead of going to get a job, then what do you want me to do? Like, I'm doing well, and I want a bigger place for my kids, and I'm not going to put your name on anything.
Right.
But she's smart not to.
Right. Especially if he's not divorced.
Right.
And I think she owns that house that they live in, right?
That's how I remember it, because I was thinking about that. She got that before they started dating.
Yeah. So she owns that house that they're living in.
And so she owns it. She doesn't rent it.
Right. So she's telling him he needs to go look at another house and, move out with his kids. But I don't know if he has his kids full time or he splits custody with his kids. Like, we don't know that. I don't think
he has them full time. So I don't know how often they're all there together. But it does seem like she and Matt live close enough where her kids probably do spend a lot more time at her house. I think that she and Matt live very close to each other, where they're close enough where the kids don't have to go for, a whole week at a time.
You mean the ex? The ex.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it could be.
Like, he just picks them up, brings them where they got to go, and then just brings them home.
Mm-hmm. And I'm sure he's not getting paid to be on the show. So, I just thought that was very interesting. And I like Gina. I always like Gina. Me too. I feel like she's the underdog. And I like that she brought this new girl on. Katie is her name? Yeah. Katie. I like Katie. I like that Katie is friends with Sutton.
Yeah.
So I like the interconnecting of the housewives. Yeah. So I'm excited for that whole relationship to play out. I hope we get to see it. I hope we're not like drowned with this other stupid drama about Ryan and Shannon and Alexis. I hope we get to see something new.
Me too.
Right?
If the whole season's about Shannon and Alexis and John Jansen, I'm going to be very annoyed. Very annoyed.
I agree.
Jenn's life does seem to be becoming more complicated, though. I feel bad.
I feel bad she's getting evicted, but I also feel bad for Gina in that situation. Because like she said, she's a new realtor and she vouched for her. And that's not cool.
No, but when you hear Jenn explain it, so her ex is no longer working for the family, which is very interesting. I wonder why.
But her family must have money, and why isn't her family supporting her then?
She said between her father and her ex, they were paying the bulk of the rent, and she was paying a small piece of it. So I guess she would pay her small piece. Maybe her dad would pay his part, but the ex wasn't paying his part. That's how I took it, the way she was explaining it.
She's got 6 kids. It's a lot. And
That's
I think how many of them are adopted?
I think just one.
Just one or 2?
I thought just one.
Maybe. I don't remember. I don't remember. I know that there is at least one that's adopted.
Yeah, once you get over 3 kids, I can't be responsible for remembering names, number, ages, sexes.
I hear you.
No,
I hear you.
I tap out at 3.
Yeah, I agree with that. And even then I have to write it down. Yeah, that's a whole interesting dynamic.
Yes.
I mean, she's not really earning any money though. She said she gets $50 for a yoga class?
Yeah, and she's probably not making much on the show. It's only her 2nd season.
But I thought she owned the yoga studio.
I thought she owned the yoga studio also. I thought that's what they had said when her 1st season. She owned the yoga studio. I did. Unless maybe she owned one and closed it and now she's just teaching.
Because it was the whole big thing about Tamara closing her gym, remember? And then she owned the yoga studio. So I don't know. We must have missed something, or I don't know.
Math's just not mathing.
No, that it certainly is not mathing. It is not mathing.
Right.
Let's see. Then I have Jenn and Ryan. They go out to dinner, and Jenn talks about how her divorce isn't final. Now that's crazy. How many years has that been at this point?
It's got to be at least 3.
At least 3. Her. Right.
Yeah.
At least 3 years. I mean, what it takes so long for these people to get divorced?
Listen, my girlfriend's going on 2 years. I think it's finally just now settled.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
And she's just an ordinary person, right?
Exactly.
It's not
exactly.
Like a celebrity.
Right. There's no forensic accountant involved.
Right.
Well, there were some experts, but not a forensic accountant. Yeah. How about Alexis's first scene? Wait, did you have more to say about
no.
Well, Jenn, they mentioned her moving in to Ryan's house with all of her children.
Yes.
I feel like that's not a good move.
No, but where is she going to go? What choice does she have? I mean, if she's being evicted, I mean, how embarrassing is that? You're on a TV show and you're being evicted. I mean, that's embarrassing.
Yeah, that's
from
bad.
A rental.
Right.
From a rental. You don't make enough on the TV show even to cover your rental?
Well, that's what I'm trying to think. Like, what could she possibly make? Maybe a couple $100,000. But if her rent could be $15,000 a month. Her rent could very easily, for a house big enough to house she and her 6 kids in Orange County, for sure I would believe that rent. I don't want to talk numbers.
See?
It's so hard not to. So her rent alone's probably over $100,000 a year.
Yeah, I don't know, but I don't know if I feel bad for her or not, because she got herself in the situation.
I know. She's the one who wanted the divorce. Like, you got to think these things out. People stay married for years that are unhappy because of financial reasons.
Right. And he was traveling back and forth, right? He wasn't even living there full time.
No.
Because the company is in another state.
Yeah, wherever she grew up.
I mean, you couldn't put up with him in another.
Right. Just suck it up, man.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's just us, ordinary housewives, thinking that way.
Yeah.
But I don't think we're the only ones.
Life.
Yes, exactly. I mean, Ryan's pretty, but that's it. I mean, what else is Ryan bringing to the table? He seems too pretty, to be honest.
I don't find him attractive at all. And the way he dresses.
No, his clothing is horrible.
It's not appealing.
No.
To me. But my standards are very high, obviously.
My impression of him is he's just a tryhard.
Yes, for sure.
He's just a tryhard, and it just does not land. It doesn't land.
Well, I mean, he clearly didn't have it like he acted like he had it, because now he's in trouble with the feds. These people who go on TV who are doing shady shit crack me up. Like, do you not think they're going to look at you?
Right.
They're going to look at you.
Right. They're going to know.
Yeah.
They're going to find out.
You're hiding it from them.
Right. You're not hiding it. They're going to find out.
Mm-hmm.
Then Shannon goes to her lawyer's office, and she was sentenced to 3 years probation. I think that's a long time. Does that mean she has to blow into that thing for 3 years?
I don't know. It could be.
And how are you drinking?
Or that could be.
How are you drinking if you have to blow into that thing? I guess she's not driving. Anytime she shouldn't be, obviously. I mean,
right.
There lies the problem.
Yeah. Yeah. How about when they flashed back to her talking to Kelly Dodd saying, in this day and age, anybody who gets a DUI, it's ridiculous.
I would love to hear Kelly Dodd's take on it. I'm sure it's all over the. I didn't bother listening to her when it was going on, but I'm sure she was slamming her.
I'm sure she was. I used to listen to her and Rick.
I did too.
I haven't in a long time though. I actually liked Kelly on the show, quite honestly.
I did too.
I never had a problem with Kelly on the show. I mean, we know why Kelly got fired.
Yeah, because she's a Republican. And you cannot be a Republican in California. You cannot be an admitted Republican in the state of California. I was listening to Meghan McCain. Do you ever listen to her podcast?
I haven't, no. I see clips of it because I think I follow her on Instagram.
Yeah, maybe it was a clip I saw, but she was talking about that. You know, she knows a lot of housewives, and she actually knows a lot of, like, housewives that actually, she'll say it, voted for Donald J. Trump, but they will not admit it. They will not admit it because they can't.
Said the same thing.
Yes, they can't admit it. And especially if you live in California, whether you're a celebrity or not. And it goes back to when we were watching The Valley, and that was the whole big scandal. So-and-so is a Republican. Like, what?
So she must be a racist.
Right. It's like, come on. It's just so fake. It's so fake. It's just so fake, and it's annoying. It really is annoying.
Well, it is because you're a real housewife, but you're not putting your real feelings out there because you're protecting your job on this show. You know, I mean, nobody should ever talk politics in the office. I'm a firm believer in that.
I don't think we should talk politics either. I don't think it should be discussed, not on a public platform.
Right. But not being able to ever admit that.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So she's got the 3 years probation, and she says that she feels like a hypocrite, which I don't blame her. I mean, I would feel like a hypocrite too, but you know what? She's human. Like our girl said, she made a mistake.
Right.
She's going to learn from this mistake. This is probably what she needed in her life to get John Jansen out of her life, because she was going to keep going back for more. You know, we know people like that. You know, they are in toxic relationships, and unless something really bad happens, they continue to stay in those toxic relationships. So
absolutely.
You know, everything does happen for a reason. And like she said, thank God nobody died. Nobody was hurt.
Yeah.
Nobody was hurt. So she can make amends and do what pay her penance. And, you know, because she said, I don't even want to get it wiped away. Like, I don't think that's fair. Well, it's not that it's fair. It's that you did what you needed to do, and you can get it done. Anyone can get it done. Once they fulfill their probation, anyone can get it, you know, removed.
You earned the right to do that.
Right.
You did the work. Right.
But I also like, Emily is out to lunch with Heather and Alexis, and they're out to dinner, and they're all talking about Heather's party and how she's going to have to call up Shannon and let her know about, you know, Alexis being there, being invited. Alexis feels the need to say that on November 18th, 2023, John Jansen walked into her life. Like, that was the be all and end all. And that's when her life changed. And, you know, that's when she said to Emily, like, you don't know. And Emily's like, no, I do know. I saw it firsthand. So then at the end, she's like, well, I want you really to get to know Johnny J. And all of a sudden, Heather says, Johnny J is the best rebranding I've ever seen. I mean, when they turned mayo into aioli. I thought that was good, but Johnny J
that was fantastic.
I never laughed so hard.
Yeah, that was very good. That was good, Heather.
I mean, that's a fancy pants response if ever I heard a fancy pants response.
For sure. Yeah. Is he going to film? Do we know?
I mean, we don't know, but I don't know.
What a hypocrite if he does.
I mean, he is a hypocrite. I mean,
he is a hypocrite. Yeah.
So he probably will.
He probably will.
Then we see, you know, Tamara going to get the tattoo with her daughter. They both get tattoos. I didn't know Tamara was getting a tattoo also.
No, me neither. She didn't look very comfortable filming her daughter, but I guess, you know, she hasn't filmed since she was a little girl. So whether she wanted to be there or not, I guess she was going to look uncomfortable at first.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, was it last season when her son, what's her son's name? Not
Spencer?
Ryan. Spencer. He looked a little uncomfortable to be on camera.
Yeah.
But
I don't blame him.
No, I don't blame him either. How about the scene when Travis and Gina are sitting at the table talking? I mean, he's like tearing up. He was like fighting back tears. I felt bad for him to have that conversation on camera. I really did.
And I mean, he even says to her, like, I don't think it's the right decision, but you know, if this is what you want to do, then I think that we're going backwards. You know, we spent 4.5 years integrating this, you know, blended family, and now you want us to break it up. And listen, I think she's doing the right thing. I don't know if you saw on Watch What Happens Live, they polled it, and the audience don't think she's doing the right.
But Shannon said she did think so, right? And Shannon would know because, you know, I'm sure they talk.
Yeah, and Shannon was very supportive of her too, and saying that that's such a difficult thing, and it is a difficult thing to do. And I also give her credit, you know, to stand up for yourself and do something difficult, because especially when you're in the public eye and you've got to go on camera and do it. But you know what? She went through a horrible time on camera and she got through it. So why not do this? Like, it has to be done, and she's going to help other.
You know, I always have said this. I think that everybody has to go through one major heartbreak in their life. And I think that when it happens to you young, I think that anything that comes after that is a little bit easier to handle. So I think that for Gina, her divorce from her husband was her major heartbreak.
Oh, for sure.
It broke up her family. Mm-hmm. So not that this is easy, but she in her head can say, I got through that, and that was the worst. I can get through this. And it's not even like as if they're breaking up, but I think that it sounds, after what you said, it sounds like she's probably putting her foot down. Like, listen, I have to move forward with these kids. My kids need space. They need rooms. They need, you know, there's 3 kids in each room. And they're, you know, the rooms in my houses are not big either. I could not imagine having 3 kids in one of any of our rooms.
Right.
Any of them. So, and if she's financially in a position to do so, she should have the right to do that.
No, I agree.
And
she's putting herself, she's putting herself and her family first, which is what she should do.
Right. And you don't go putting his name on anything, because he clearly isn't going to contribute financially, because that would mess up whatever divorce settlement he's got going on.
And his name on anything would mess it up too.
Yeah, exactly.
So, you know, he needs to go find his own place, and he needs to figure it out. And I'm glad that I think she's doing the right thing. And Shannon did also say on Watch What Happens Live, they are still together.
Yeah, which is great.
Yeah. Yeah. And then they're going to the Heather's luncheon, and we meet Katie for the first time, Gina's friend. Mm-hmm. Shannon apologizes to Gina right away, and Gina was shocked because she never ever expected Shannon to apologize to her. And I'm glad that she did that, because Shannon needed to apologize. Yeah. You know, after what she had said to her, especially at the reunion, it had just happened. You know, she needed to apologize.
She did. She did.
I also thought it was funny how Gina said, you know, when Heather has a party, like, she goes all out. She's got this station. She's got that station. Like, when you go to her parties, you got to work.
That was very cool, though. Like, at first when she said stations, I thought she was just talking about food. But she had the permanent jewelry.
Yes.
And what was the other one?
The tarot card reader.
Yeah.
I know. I thought that was cool, too.
Very, very cool.
I don't know about the I wish thing, and I think we're going to maybe see that next week. I think that's going to be a disaster. Like, what you wish for somebody else.
Oh, I didn't catch.
Yes, because the new girl was like, I don't even know these people. Like, how am I going to wish something for somebody else? And Heather's like, well, it's all anonymous. We're not going to know who. And I'm like, oh, this is not going to go well.
Yeah.
It's not going to go well.
No, not at all. Not at all.
I mean, I don't know who thinks up these parties or these, you know, activities. Yeah. I was on board with the permanent jewelry and the tarot card reader. Maybe a tattoo station, but I can't see Fancy Pants having a tattoo station.
Somebody needs to invite me to a party where they're giving out free tattoos.
I know, right?
Come on, buddy.
There you go. What else?
Well, then we get to Shannon going up to Alexis. Gina was funny. She was like, "Oh, you're gonna do it now? Oh,
yeah." Yeah.
Okay, good. I give Shannon credit for doing that too. But you know what? Again, I just think she handled everything very classy last night. She looked great on Watch What Happens Live. Like, I hope that this is a really great season for her. But Jeff Lewis did say, Andy, you guys set her up. You set her up with no friends.
He's friends with her. He's friends with her. Mm-hmm. And you know, I think she looked fabulous at the party. And that's the other thing people were saying today. Like, Alexis didn't expect Shannon to come back looking so good, because she looks better than Alexis ever did.
Yes.
And they showed like side by side of Shannon, like the first season she came on, and then the Shannon this season, and she looks just as good, if not better, 9 years later.
Yeah.
But when she got in the car and she's trying not to wrinkle, I never laughed so hard again.
She's like a board.
Okay, I'm just going to sit like this. I'm like, Shannon.
And I was like, what is it? And then I thought, you know what happens.
Yes, your stomach.
But my God, Givenchy, wasn't that a Givenchy dress? Like, does that stuff wrinkles too? For crying out loud, what are you paying thousands of dollars for that?
Well, how long was the car ride is my question. Like, how long was the car ride?
Well.
Like, how long was the car ride?
I don't know. So
like, how far is the Balboa Club from, because it was at the Balboa Club, to her place on the beach? Maybe, is she in Malibu? Or
maybe she's in Malibu.
I don't know where she's at.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I don't know. And then she did say her dress was a little tight. I mean, it looked great on her. She looked fabulous. I'm sure she had Spanx like on top of Spanx. Yeah. And then Emily readjusting her boobs.
Yes. Tamra looked a fool. Tamra looked ridiculous. Black nylons with those boots. I didn't even understand her outfit. And then she tears her nylons. And she's all upset.
Gina tears
them off.
That's what I was thinking. Just take them off. Why are you wearing black stockings in the OC? Like, why? Why?
It was a stupid outfit.
Yeah, I didn't get that. Like, those boots would have worked without those stockings. Like, what was the point?
Right. Did you see who Teddy is recapping with for OC?
No.
Alexia from Miami. Now.
Okay, I'm done. Hold
on. Yeah, hold on to the listeners at home. Because if there's one housewife that I dislike, I don't dislike her as much as I dislike Teresa, but it's pretty damn close. And you know what? They're both equally as dumb. And I feel bad saying that. They're so dumb. Alexia probably doesn't even, I don't think Alexia can see past herself. So for her she's not watching OC. Let's put it that way. She's not watching these episodes. Like when Emily was on recapping other shows with Teddy, Emily was watching the shows. Emily was sitting there like you and I. She was taking her notes, or maybe not, because she's very smart. She probably remembered it all.
No, she was taking notes. She was taking notes.
Alexia is not doing that. She's not watching it. She was the worst person for them to pick to do this. And I really hope that it was a one-time deal.
I did not know that. I will not be listening, or maybe listen once just to make sure that I cannot listen again. But I will tell you, when they first
rule it out.
Yes. When they first had Cynthia Bailey do it, she was not even watching the episodes and she had no idea what was going on, and she was annoying the crap out of me. But
exactly.
I gave her a couple tries because I do like Cynthia Bailey, and she did get better at it.
Yes, she did.
She did get better at it. But honestly, I'm not giving Alexia another try.
I don't have faith that Alexia is going to get any better.
Because I don't like her, but I did like Cynthia. And Cynthia, I guess, now is back on Atlanta, so she didn't have time to recap. I don't know. Like, why not get Cynthia?
I don't think they're filming anymore, so
or get Sutton, or get somebody. Oh, no, Teddy doesn't get along with Sutton. Who
they
could
don't?
she do? I don't think so. I don't think Teddy and Sutton get along. Teddy has some, from Beverly Hills. I don't think Teddy and Sutton get along.
They got to get somebody else on there. Alexia was a bad move. That was a bad move.
Anyone from Miami was a bad move.
Totally agree.
Like, who could you have gotten? There's nobody from Miami that would have worked.
I like Dr. Nicole. I think she would have put the time in.
I love Dr. Nicole, but she's got an infant and she's a doctor. I mean, she doesn't need that. And her husband's crazy wealthy.
I know. It would just be fun to hear her, but I don't think Teddy has that many friends. I don't think Teddy has that many people to choose from. Listen, I would have taken Jenn Fessler over Alexia, quite honestly. Not Jen.
I don't know. I'm aggravated with Jenn Fessler, too.
I'm aggravated with her, but I think she would have done the work and she would have had some honest opinions. All right. So now Alexis and Shannon go outside and talk.
Right. They're going outside. And I mean, Emily trying to read the lips. She's like, I can speak Spanish, I can speak English, and I can read lips. And then she's like, she's sitting there with her legs spread open in front of the glass door, trying to get their angle because they moved the table because they wanted to be in the shade because it was too bright in the sun, and they're dragging the table. And one of my sons walked in when I was watching this and taking notes. He's like, what is going on? I was like, well, they're going to have a conversation. He goes, well, why are they moving the table? I said, well, it's...
And the producers are like, no. And they're like, we got it.
But Shannon starts out with why she's mad at Alexis, and she doesn't mention John Jensen at all. Doesn't even mention his name.
Right.
And her response back is about John.
Yep. Well, because Alexis doesn't believe that that's really why she's pissed. She thinks she's just pissed because I have your ex-boyfriend, Shannon Bedour. Listen, honey, we know who he is. It is no prize. You won nothing.
Right. You won nothing.
And you should not be throwing it out there. I really hope that Shannon does stop drinking as much. If she's not going to stop drinking completely, fine. But I really hope she meets somebody like amazing.
Well, she did say on Watch What Happens Live, she's not even looking, which is good.
Yeah, that is good.
I think that's good. And I agree. I think that she should stop drinking just to prove to everybody that she can.
I totally agree with you.
If for no other reason at all.
Yep.
Stop drinking for a year.
Yep.
And guess what that will do to your figure? Oh my God. Like, you won't even need the Spanx.
Yeah. Eric's like, every time Eric tells me how much he weighs, I'm like, you need to stop because the gap is closing in. The gap's getting smaller and smaller between what I weigh and what you weigh, big guy. And he's 6'3". And he, and it's from he's golfing now too. So he's walking a lot, but it was the alcohol. It was the beer.
Yeah. Yeah. That'll do it.
Mm-hmm.
That'll do it.
Now, me, on the other hand, switching from wine to tequila did not do it.
It's not helping?
I mean, a little bit. I'm not as bloated, I'll tell you that much.
Okay. So that's helping.
Yeah.
Are you drinking less?
I am definitely drinking less. I can't drink as much tequila as I was. I would kill a bottle of wine anytime I opened one.
And you're not waking up hungover now, right? So that's working.
Yep. I'm literally just putting tequila over ice and watering it down. I still do drink wine sometimes, people. When I went out for Jeannie's birthday, I had some wine, but not like I was,
Yeah. So that's good.
Mm-hmm.
So then on Watch What Happens, I don't have anything else about that episode, do you?
No, because the whole thing between Alexis and Shannon was silly. I'm glad it's over with, and I hope we don't have to see any more of it.
Is it over, though? Like, is that conversation completely over, or are we going to see more next week? I think we're going to see more next week.
Yeah, we'll probably see more. See more.
So let's see, Alexis was rubbing, Andy did some poll questions, and everyone thought that Alexis was rubbing her relationship in Shannon's face.
Absolutely.
Everyone was on Shannon's side of the poll questions. Shannon branded the quiet woman, even if she doesn't own it.
Mm-hmm.
But today, the quiet woman posted that they're supporting Alexis Bellini.
What?
I saw on Instagram. Now, I don't know if it was in fact the quiet woman that did post it, but I saw something that said the quiet woman and then supports Alexis Bellini. So I have to look into that.
Yeah, we'll look into that.
That's
surprising.
I was surprised to see that. I don't know where
because
we
like
stand.
Shannon said, and I believe it because you and I would do this. People go to the quiet woman looking for her. And
yes.
I totally believe that.
Yes. And when the quiet woman had a big celebration, they invited her, right? No one thinks that Tamara's bond with Alexis will survive. Right. I agree. People think that Shannon handled herself very well in tonight's episode. I 100% agree with that.
Absolutely.
100%. And then I just wrote down it was the 100 seasons with the premiere of the OC. And I said that in the beginning. It's very, very fitting.
Yeah.
That they ended. Yeah. 100 seasons. That's insane. My son said to me, how many days of your life do you think you've spent watching the Housewives? Have you watched all of them? I was like, yes, I have. And some of them,
I don't watch Dubai, but other than that, yes.
And some of them more than once. So I don't know.
Wait, are we talking about watching them for the first time or watching them for the 75th time?
I do not know. I have not calculated how many days of my life I've spent.
Let's not do that.
We're not going to do that.
We're not doing that.
If anyone wants to calculate how many days of their lives they've spent watching the Housewives, let us know. Put it in the comments.
Yes, please.
But we are not going to divulge that information because you know what? People may come get us. There may be some straight jackets. This has been going
on for 18 years.
Yes, which is insane.
So, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. It's insane.
Longer than I've known my son.
Yeah. Longer than I've known one of my sons.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Very crazy.
So the Melissa, Joe, Nick podcast that we listened to, and they were kind of recapping the wedding, Nick's wedding that Joe was the officiant for. And I did not know Nick had his own podcast.
I didn't either, and I think he just got one. Like I think it's new, and I think that was part of the reason they had him on to introduce that, because he's been on before, I think, on their podcast, and they haven't mentioned it, so I think it's new. But I told you, her uncle started Hand and Stone.
Yes,
her uncle is like a fucking entrepreneur. Sorry. Try not to curse. That guy is a rock star.
Now, is that Nick's dad?
Yes, that's Nick's dad.
Oh.
So I looked Nick up on LinkedIn. I actually asked to connect with him, but we'll see. You know, Marco Enterprises, which I think is their company, was hiring for like an office manager or something. And actually,
did you apply?
I applied.
Yeah. Why not?
I want my current bosses to know that.
I mean, listen.
I mean, obviously, I did it because
you're a fan.
Huge fan of Melissa Gorga. but they own a lot. So they own Hand and Stone. They own the Sweat 440 gym next to Hand and Stone. Now, I believe it's his daughter. I think her name is Tara, but I'm not sure. Owns it looks beautiful. I don't know if it's open yet, but it's a bridal shop in Wall. Remember where the Circus Car Hop is? They knocked it down and put up a little strip mall.
Okay. I didn't know there was a bridal shop in there.
Yes. And it looks beautiful. I think that's hers. I think that's her cousin, Nick's sister. But anyway, her uncle is a very successful businessman. And Nick ran and operated, I think, 4 of the Hand and Stones for a while. But I think maybe he's still involved with it. I don't know.
Now, did the uncle start all of them? Because I know they're franchised. They're not all owned by the same person.
He started Hand and Stone. So when you franchise it, you're buying it from him.
That's interesting.
Very successful man.
Yeah, good for him.
Yes.
Good for him. Now, I thought that Nick was such a professional podcaster. When I was listening to him, I was like, wow, he's really good.
Mm-hmm.
And then she said he has his own podcast. I was like, oh, I want to listen to it.
Yeah. Yeah. How about, okay, so we were saying that we wish we saw more of the wedding. And now we know why we didn't. His father put the kibosh on it, which I thought was amazing. Yes. And I'm glad to know the reason, because I thought if they weren't filming it because it was Melissa and not Teresa, I would have been very aggravated, because it was beautiful. The whole thing was beautiful.
Yes. It was. It really was. It was. Yeah. And I love that his family is so supporting.
Absolutely.
And I'm sad that his husband's is not.
Absolutely.
I also love when they were talking about their upcoming trip to Italy, how Melissa's taking her mom and her sisters, and how he invited himself. I was like, oh, that's good. You know what? I would be that cousin too. I would be that same cousin.
Bravo. Do us a favor, Bravo. Send a camera crew with them. Seriously. Let's just see what happens. I love her family. I think, I mean, I don't know if that's something they want a spinoff, but
they probably
how amazing
don't.
would that be?
They probably don't, though.
They probably don't. I mean,
they don't need it.
No, they don't need it. And I'm sure I think her sisters enjoy being on the show. I mean, I don't know them, obviously, but it seems like they enjoy being there when they are there, but they're certainly not, like, some people online are so nasty about the whole thing. Like, her sisters want to be housewives. I don't get that impression from them. Not in the least bit.
No, I don't either.
That they're just a sweet family that enjoys being together.
Right. They're just a close family. That's it.
That's
it. And that's happens. That's a thing that happens. There are some families that are very close.
Yes. We like to be together. My family's like that.
Yeah. And I don't think it's just a New Jersey thing. I mean, I think it's not uncommon to happen in New Jersey. I do think that New Jersey is a bunch of Italians, not that there's not other, nationalities, but I do think there's a lot of Italians in New Jersey, and Italian families are close. They just tend to be close.
Right. And maybe spend more time together than others.
Right. So I would love to watch.
I've told you my father's birthday is January 7th, and we see each other so much before that because of Thanksgiving and Christmas, and we wind up celebrating my father's birthday like later in January, because he's like, you know what? I'm good. I'm all set for right now. We've been together a lot. So I'm going to see you at the end of the month. Okay.
Whatever works for you,
and
Dad.
Sometimes he takes off to Florida for a month, and then we don't see him until February.
Well, there you go.
But the rest of us are like, we're still getting together, right?
Yeah. Does he really need to be here for his birthday?
No,
probably not.
No.
But I'm glad also that Melissa brought up on that podcast what is going on with Chanel Ion.
I'm glad she did too.
I saw that and I was like, what is going on with Chanel Ion? I mean, I know she was at Teresa's wedding, but why does she feel the need to take somebody else's down? Like, what is the point? Because she's doing
Teresa's dirty work, which is exactly what Alexia does when she speaks poorly of Melissa. They're all doing Teresa's dirty work, and they think we're stupid. We're not stupid.
I wouldn't peg Chanel Ion to be that person. I know you don't watch Dubai, but I do. I mean, it's their second season. I've totally caught up. But she is a strong, independent woman, and she says what she feels. And I'm just very surprised, especially considering Melissa said that she's very close with her cousin Uba.
I know. I thought that was interesting too.
I was like, Uba's awesome too. I love Uba.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Oh, New York. When's New York coming back?
Oh, hopefully we'll get that soon.
Yes, I want to see New York.
I mean, I think they're still filming.
Are they still filming? No, they can't.
No,
You think?
I don't know.
think so. I don't think they're still filming.
Maybe not, because I think they just announced that the one girl who was a Scientologist is going to be a friend of now.
Oh, Rachel Minkoff.
Yeah. And then the other girl, did you see the thing? Was it Lori that sent it to us?
Yes.
That what her employees say about her, that Rachel Minkoff?
Yeah, listen, it doesn't surprise me that she's a Scientologist, but it surprises me that Bravo put her on.
I agree.
I mean, not that, one religion's different than another. It's just a very controversial religion to begin
with. And I mean, not that Catholics can't go to jail either, but you have very famous people involved in that religion who have been put in jail for, rape and things like that. So it is, like you said, it's just controversial.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I wouldn't even use that example because there are so many Catholic priests.
Yeah, you're right.
Like they're not above it, like none of the religions are, but that specific religion is really tied to a lot of money and a lot of celebrities that are a little bit cults-like, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, I mean, you're right.
I don't know. So I'm glad that they switched it up and making her a friend of.
Yeah. That's what I heard. So maybe they are done filming and they're editing and they're just kind of figuring it out. But there's another woman who identifies her as queer, because she said she was surprised that she would be cast because they already had a queer housewife on there.
Okay, well, that's good.
Yeah, but I think it was it Teddy and Tamra, I think we're talking about it. And Teddy said, I'm looking forward to it. And I agree with her because, what's her name? Jenna doesn't really show much of her personal life, which, people have different opinions about, but it is what it is. And maybe this woman will. So
Right.
Yeah.
I think if you are married and you are on a reality show, that you need to get sign off from your spouse to show that part of your life. If you are not married, I don't think it should be a requirement. That's just me. And I do think, speaking of housewives, that is the reason that Ashley Darby announced that she was divorcing Michael, even though they are not actually divorced, because Michael didn't want to be on. And fine, if that's how you're going to do it and you're going to have your own household, then fine, you do it that way. But if you are married, and you're on a reality show, you need to show your reality.
Right. But if you're not married and you're just dating, like that's a lot to like Jenna, like that was a lot to ask of her, to ask of this person she's dating to agree to be on like what? Like we just started dating. I don't even know if I like you yet.
Exactly.
So, but when you're married, this is every day. This is every day.
I know that they are engaged, but they are not married yet. So that's still.
This isn't who she was with when she was filming. This is somebody else.
Right.
So good thing she didn't put that other woman on the show.
Yeah, because that's going to blow up their whole life. And for what?
Right.
I mean, listen, I think that you need to be real, but you can have some things that, are off limits, even like children, if the children don't want to film, then they shouldn't have to film. They're children, know?
Right.
I mean,
and like Jacqueline Larita, when she was going through all that with Nicholas, like first getting his diagnosis, we didn't know any of that.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't know any of that. And the only reason we found out before she started filming and was open to talking about it was because Teresa was so horrible at that reunion. And basically Caroline had to say, like, she's going through a lot with her, in defense of her not being at that reunion because of what happened the night prior.
Right.
But I agree. Like things with your kids, that's, you and I could sit here for hours and talk about stuff that's going on in our kids' lives, but that's not fair to them.
Right. And we're not even showing them, like to ask them to be on camera. Even Lala was talking about this. Her one daughter, Ocean, can't be on camera because Randall won't sign off on it.
Right.
And she's not sure she's going to allow her next child to be on camera either, because one, how can you put one on and not the other? And even Emily was talking about that, how Shane's older daughter wasn't allowed to be on camera, even though Shane's older daughter lived with them the entire time.
Really?
Yes, she lived with them the entire time. I think she talked about it on Two Teas in a Pod when she was hosting with Teddy.
Oh, I must have missed that one.
We never saw her because her mother wouldn't allow it. And, she said it was kind of awkward. Like, we'd have to say, like, we're filming. You're going to have to, like, go in your room. And, she understood it, but it's awkward for the family and it's awkward for the dynamics. And I could see where, Lala has two children once she has the second one, and you can't film one and not film the other one. Like, that's
I don't
not
think
good.
so.
And that's okay. That's
right.
okay. You don't have to film your children. We don't need to see that part of their lives unless.
No. Gina prefers not to, quite honestly. Cousin Gina doesn't want to see your kids.
Yeah, that's for sure. Cousin Gina does not want to see your kids.
I'm only kidding.
No,
I know she said it. She'll take it in small doses, people. Don't be shoving anybody down her throat. I don't think Lala's going to be filming with any kids, from what I understand. Why is she getting so much hate?
People love to hate her.
Yeah.
I still like her. I like her a lot.
Me too.
No hate from me. All right. No. What else? We wanted to talk about something else, I think.
We're going over the hour mark.
Oh, we are. So we'll save it for another time.
Let's save it.
Okay, we're going to save it.
Because I'm so annoyed. I don't even want to. Yeah.
All right.
I'm get annoyed.
All right. We won't talk about it. Yeah. We'll save it. We'll save it until next time.
Okay.
Actually,
let's save it until we cover Jersey, because it's more fitting then anyway.
Yes, and we'll be doing that on Monday night, and we'll be dropping that on Tuesday.
Yep.
Okay. Sounds good, right?
People.
Thank you for watching and listening to We Why Whenever. I'm Wendy.
I'm Kelly. Good night.
Bye.